founder and CEO of MadLearn. I've been trying to get my video to work in all kinds of ways, but unfortunately it's not cooperating. So thank you all for your patience and thank you for being here. It is at time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. As I mentioned, my name is Alethea Master. I am a brown-skinned woman of Indian descent. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I do have curly hair just like my picture. I'm sitting in my office today with a black shirt on, which you cannot see. I also have, and for purposes of inclusivity, I also have my amazing colleague, Greg Stone, here on this session with me. Greg, tell us a little bit about you. Describe yourself for us.
Well, I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and have been with MadLearn since before day one. We started this about 10 years ago now, and it's been an exciting journey after 30 years of teaching and being an administrator. And it's just been a fantastic experience to watch kids do what they've been able to do with this program. So I'm glad to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. And we are in Don't Worry, Be APPy. That is our goal today, a 1-hour session filled with hopefully some really fun ideas, some chuckles, some jokes that only I laugh at. Greg thinks my jokes are corny, but really, truly want you to think about how we can not worry about things like apps and app development, but really be happy and APPy with building one yourself. So that is our goal today. Please tell us who you are in the chat. We would love to hear from you. We're going to be showing this QR code a little bit throughout the session, so don't worry if you miss it just now. This is a hands-on session, extremely hands-on. You are going to be building with us. In 1 hour, all of us are going to create a mobile app and see it on our phone instantly. See how easy it can be, see how applicable it can be to any kind of grade level, any kind of classroom, regardless of what you teach. Of course, we are here at the CS4 New York Summit. So we are all interested in computer science. Either we're computer science teachers or trying to incorporate that into our other classes as well. So please, please, please put in the chat. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do. We want to meet you. We want to learn with you here today. And pull out your phone for me, scan that code, or Greg, if you could put in the chat our website link, go to our website and sign up for a free trial. That's what you're going to be using today. If you already have MadLearn in your school, if you've already seen this program, absolutely feel free to use the login you already have. But for all of us here today, go ahead and click that link in the chat or scan that QR code, sign up for your free trial. Make sure that your email address is correct, because that's where it's going to send you an email to get your login information for today. So definitely make sure you've got that going. But as we mentioned, we are your hosts for today. I'm Alethea. This is Greg. We've been working together for 10 years now, and we have a phenomenal team of people all over the world, in India, in Ghana, and all across the United States. New York is actually very near and dear to our hearts. We've been doing a lot of stuff with districts and schools all across the state of New York. For those of you who are probably thinking or asking the question, are we EdLaw 2D compliant? Yes, we are. We are also on the New York State BOCES purchasing contract. So if this is something that you want, you can purchase through your local BOCES. And we're approved in all of those different regards. So definitely something to think about. And of course, very much aligned to our new computer science and digital fluency standards. So we wanted to make sure we take care of all that stuff for you, so you don't have to do the heavy lifting. You can just experience a program and see if it's something that makes sense for you. Why are we here today? Because we know that our kids are phenomenal consumers of technology, but we need them to be creators as well. We want them to create, we want them to build, we want them to take the ideas that they have and turn them into something magical. And the reality is, our phones are the best hook. The kids are obsessed with their phones. They're on their phones 24/7. They're using apps. This is the language they speak more than any other piece of technology that we throw their way. Even laptops are second nature to them. Even things like drones or robots, all of these things are things that they learn and they are exposed to over time, but their phone is something that they're practically born with. So let's use that as a hook to bring all of our kids into computer computer science and building, and not just the few that we may have in a focused computer science class. So what is MADlearn? MAD stands for Mobile App Development. That's what we're here to do. We are all going to see how easy it can be to build an app, but specifically MADlearn is focused on the design thinking process. Everything that we have within our program is based on these 6 steps of the engineering design process, the design thinking process. Greg, tell us a little bit about these 6 steps and why are they so important? We actually have integrated modules in our platform that we're all going to experience today for these 6 steps. But Greg, tell us a little bit about why we have this.
Well, as the director of curriculum development, this is what it's been about for me since we started MADlearn. We were talking about having students build a mobile app, but I see this more as being about the design thinking process, using the building of a mobile app as a vehicle to teach the skills that inherently come to be in going through this process for students. And this process, we believe, and we've had it bear out, helps students across the board in anything that they're doing in school, and is something that's essential to them as they enter the workforce later on. You don't just build something by slapping it together. You really need to put it together in an organized process that we impart to the students here.
Thank you, Greg. And speaking of that, the research backs this up as well. Design thinking fosters future-ready skills. When we look at design thinking, when we focus on design thinking, it helps us develop empathic problem solvers. It encourages critical thinking and global perspective, and it really promotes the growth mindset amongst our students. And that is something that we know is so critical. Always be thinking about how we can get better, how we can grow, how we can go to the next level, and not be defeated by one failure. When we look at global companies that exist across the board, big, small, everyone in between, 65% of executives say they would rather that colleges build up students' life skills. That's a big one, right? We look at Wall Street Journal saying employees are wanted who can shake hands and make small talk, not necessarily hard skills, but those skills that we unfortunately call soft skills that are not so soft. Greg, what do we call them at MADlearn?
Vital and transferable skills.
Absolutely. They're not soft. They're not, they're really, really very critical for our students. 92% of executives across businesses in the United States say that they want problem solving and communicating clearly as skills in employees that they're hiring. These are the top 10 skills that are identified as the World Economic Forum as critical skills for our kids to have, our workforce to have. Creativity, coordination, people management, negotiation, problem solving, all of these things that we know, we talk about these things. Building something together, creating a product, solving a problem together can help us get there. That's why we focus on design thinking, and that's why it is something that's integrated into everything that we do. Greg, tell us what we're looking at here.
Well, this is an example of an app that was built in a math class called Quadratic Transformations. There were several quadratic apps that were created. The teacher's aim here was to have the students demonstrate their mastery of this concept by building an app so that it could be used to teach beginners in these concepts. This is a beautifully organized app, thanks to the attention to detail paid to the planning phase of the app when it was built. It's a very useful app for those of you who have an interest in learning more about such things. This app is available. You can you can use the QR code on your phone to open up a fully functioning version of this app.
Thank you, Greg. And I just want to say, Greg mentioned this, pull out your phone, guys. You're in an APPy session, a Don't Worry, Be APPy session. We're going to use our phones. We're going to use apps. Pull out your phone, scan this QR code. That's how easy it can be to see any app that a student makes with our program. Scan that QR code, check it out. You can look at this app and play with it yourself. We had a couple apps here that we wanted to show you as examples. So Greg, tell us about this one.
This is a really cool app, and it was made by a middle school student in Florida about pollution and its effects on marine life. most notably sea turtles. But what this app really demonstrates is what we see quite often is the amount of research that students will put into building the content for their apps. And they go through the process in a much less painful way than they normally would be doing research for things. And the amount of information in this particular app is amazing. And it's not atypical of what we see in apps that have been produced by students, even at the middle school and even at the elementary level. And this last app, Rocket Simulator, is a very nice visual design, as well as a really nice step-by-step look at what a space mission entails. The student did research and didn't just present it as an essay or something like that, but actually put you into a game situation where you have a countdown to launch, and you launch your rocket and you go into space, and you hit these checkpoints along the way after so many miles of travel and what have you. It's a great simulator, and very nicely done by a high school student in Georgia, I believe. And Alethea, if you're speaking now, you're on mute. Interesting. Alethea will be right back with us, folks. We appreciate your patience. It'll give you a chance to take a closer look at some of the apps that we put up there.
Hi, Greg. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to refresh a few times. Anytime it doesn't work, please let me know, guys. I appreciate it. Okay, we are seeing in the chat you're getting a blank white screen. No, this should work on Android, iOS, absolutely any phone that you have. When you do that, could you try hitting the refresh button on your browser? Maybe that would work on your phone if you do scan any of those QR codes. So try that and let us know if that works for you. But we should, yep, I just tried it on my end and it did pull up for me. So try the refresh, see if that is working. Maybe not. Oh, I am as well. Okay. Well, we will put links in the chat for you instead. How about that? Greg, if you wouldn't mind putting a couple links in the chat for us for a few apps that we can take a look at, we can play with. Sorry about that, guys. We're having all kinds of technical issues today. But let's go to our, and let me share my screen again. Please let me know, guys, if you can see my screen when I do share it. Okay. Can you see my screen? I've got the mission. It says your mission. Let me know if we can see that. Yes, the screen is seen. Thank you, Virginia. I appreciate you. Okay, so our mission for today is to create an app. And if you've already built an app, then this is going to be your second or third one. If not, this is going to be your very first mobile app that you are building. So please scan this QR code here on the screen or go to mad-learn.com and hit the button on the top right that says try it for free. Go ahead and fill out that form. If you did it at the beginning, you're in good shape. And go to your inbox. So once you fill out the form and hit submit, I want you to go to your email inbox and look for an email that says, welcome to MadLearn. It will be an email from support@madlearn.com. It says, welcome to MadLearn. So go ahead and click on that email. It will have your username and your temporary password to log in to MadLearn. The trials here today are 2-week trials. If you need more time, just let us know. We're happy to extend that for you. But go ahead and click on that email from your email inbox and sign in. We want you to sign into MadLearn because we are all on a mission today. Our mission is to think of an idea, either your least favorite unit that you teach or something that you and or your students really struggle with, and whatever class you're in. You don't have to be a computer science teacher to do app development in your classroom. Of course, we have tons of CS teachers all across the country that are using MadLearn and doing app development in their class. We also have English teachers that are saying, hey, ditch the book report paper, you're going to make a book report mobile app instead. We have math teachers that are making quadratic equation apps in their class. We have social studies teachers that are saying, hey, we're learning about the Holocaust, we're going to make an app on the Holocaust. So really, truly, absolutely anything that you teach. I want you to think about your least favorite unit, something that you struggle with, your kids struggle with, and how building an app in that particular content area or with that particular concept could be a fun, interesting way to really understand what we need to understand, or really give it some spice, give it some juice, give it some excitement in a way that we're all, as teachers and as our kids, now looking forward to. So think about one of those units, or you could build an app all about you. It could be your resume mobile app. It could be all about you. That's fine. That's a really good way to start with. We all know a lot about ourselves. So you can build an app that is the you app, and think about that as an idea. Or it could be something like a class app, right? We all have started school. We are, in our new school year, gosh, now a month in, 2 months in for some of us. But I'm going to make a classroom app. And this is going to be the Miss Master classroom app, and everything that you need to know about my class is right here in my app, right? So anything at all that you come up with, any idea that you have, this is your mission for today, to start building an app with that theme in mind. So I need to hear from you guys, also making sure that you can still hear me, but give me a thumbs up in the chat if you have been able to log in to MadLearn. Once you signed up for the free trial, you go to your email inbox, use that username and temporary password to log in to MadLearn, and you should see sort of a dashboard that says welcome, whatever your name is, once you're logged in. So give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Is it Jian in the chat? Thank you for letting me know that you're here and you were able to log in. Everyone else, please give me a quick thumbs up when you have been able to log in, because we want to take you through a rapid fire round of design thinking as we are going to experience that together. So Greg, I'm going to stop my share for just a second, because I would love for you to pull up, if you can, a dashboard on your end, so everyone can see what they should be seeing once they're logged in.
Okay.
Okay. And folks, please give us a thumbs up in the chat once you're logged in. We want to make sure you're in with us, because we're all going to be building together and be able to explore MadLearn just a little bit. So go ahead, Greg. What should we see once we're logged in?
Well, let me just make sure I'm at the right place and that you can see my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
We can, yep.
Okay, great. So we're going to take a look at an app to go through this process just in very brief terms.
Actually, Greg, before you do that real quick, Christina's logged in as well. Can you just click on your dashboard? I want to make sure that we are all logged in before we, okay, perfect. So what you're seeing here is just some dummy data. You will not be seeing as much as what Greg is seeing right now. But when you log in, you should see a page kind of like this. It says, welcome, Greg. And you've got some basic info here on your dashboard. So Liani, you're here, you're in too. Excellent. I'm so glad that you guys are logged in. So again, give us a thumbs up in the chat. We have Doreen on our team here also in the chat. If you have any issue logging in, or it's not working for you, or your email address is already in use or something like that, just let us know. We can reset it for you. But please log into MadLearn. Let us know that you're in. Your dashboard should look a little bit like this once you're in. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So Greg, you can stop your screen share. We'll come back to your app in just a quick second.
Oh, okay. If I can figure out how to do, I got it.
There you go. Perfect.
Thank you.
So excellent. So since several of us are in, we are going to start our 6-step design thinking process. And the very first part of the step, or the very first part of the process, is ideation. So what I would like for you to do, somewhere on your dashboard, there is a button that says create an app. And if you don't see it on your dashboard, on the left panel, there's a button that says apps. Go ahead and click on that, and you will be able to create your very first app. Let's go ahead and create an app, and we're going to give it a name. Step 1, give it a name. If I am building an app about computer science initiatives in New York, I might call my app CS for New York. If the name's already taken, give it a little twist, add some stuff to it to make it unique. But go ahead and click on create an app and give your app a name. Again, it could be a unit you're struggling with. It could be an app all about you. It could be an app for, to help solve a problem that you see in your community, in your life. But let's make sure that we can do that. So go ahead and give your app a name. And once you click on save or next on that particular screen, you will be put into a 6-step process. And those 6 steps will look kind of like these 6 steps here at the top of your screen. You'll see ideate, plan, design, build, test, and launch. Those are the 6 modules that you and your students are going to go through. So go ahead and click on, once you give your app a name, you will be in the ideate module. We're going to take 10 whole seconds to write out your idea and give it a little bit of a description. So just take 10 seconds, give your app a name, give it put that title in there for your app, a quick description of what you are going to build today. And when you're done with that, we're going to toggle to the next module, which is plan. But for each of these modules, we have some cheat sheet ideas here on the screen for you. So take a look at those if you'd like. If you just want to focus on your screen and be building and in the zone with us, that's totally fine too. But what we're working on right now is our idea for the app that we think we want to start today, that we think we want to build. Once you've put it into MadLearn, go ahead and tell us in the chat too what your idea is and what you're thinking of starting to build today. So I'll be quiet for just a few seconds while we work on our idea.
If I could say something though, just for Virginia's benefit, she said she couldn't get in and was just going to follow along. But Virginia, I went into the system, and you did get in to the system, and I've assigned a password to you. If you go to the mad-learn.com website and click the login button in the upper right, you'll be able to log in with your email address and MadLearn as the password. And I'm putting that in the chat. It's just MADLEARN, all lowercase, one word. If you do that, you should be able to get in.
Awesome. Thank you, Greg. And Virginia is going to work on that. Virginia, you're most welcome. Christine's app idea is creating an app to match district tools with CS standards. Oh my God, I love that idea. And we all need it. So please, Christine, please work on that app. Please build that for us. That is a phenomenal idea. Thank you for putting that in there. Okay. We had a whole 10 seconds, which is of course never enough. But in your classroom, you would spend 1 or 2 class periods on the brainstorming ideation part of MadLearn, of building your app. We want to take a lot of time with that. But for today, rapid fire, remember? So let's go ahead and toggle to the next module. At the very top of your screen, click on plan, which is the next module, the next step of the process. Greg, tell us about planning. What is this? What do we do with this?
Well, we start with a central idea. What we're building here is a mind map or a web, or you may know it by other names. But as an organizational tool, what we're doing is starting with a central idea and working outward with different layers of detail at each time. So for example, if I was building an app about STEM, as you can kind of see in the example here, the first way I would break this down is to the major elements of STEM: science, technology, engineering, math. And then off of each of those, I would have sub branches. For math, for example, I might have lower level math and advanced math, for example, and then break those down further. The lower ones would be, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and the more advanced would be calculus and trig and so on. So to create these plans or these mind maps, simply click on a bubble and name it, and then use the blue or the green button in the upper left-hand corner to create a new branch coming off of that. So if I'm in STEM and I want to create a science STEM, I just click the green button and then name that branch, and then go back to the STEM button and create another branch coming off for technology and so forth.
Thank you, Greg. And just want to make sure you're still hearing me.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's take 2 minutes to work on our plan. As Greg said, put your central idea in the middle, add some branches off to the sides of your central theme. This is where students are really thinking about organizing their thoughts, organizing their ideas, doing the research and figuring out what makes sense to be together, what makes sense to be separate. We actually have a really fun activity that's called Guess the Plan or something like that. But essentially kids hate planning, let's be honest. They want to go directly into building, but it's an essential component of the process. So before you even come into this and do this part of the process, we recommend this activity, which is in the curriculum section. We'll show that to you as well. But what we get the students to do is create a plan, a mind map, fully in depth, but don't put anything in the middle bubble. So don't tell us the topic, don't tell us the theme, just create your plan with the middle being blank. And then kids go around the room and they guess each other's topic or idea. So, and they're seeing how easy it is to guess an idea that has a good plan versus one that does not have a well thought out plan. So this really helps hone in on the fact that the planning is important. It's essential. So let's take 2 minutes, work on maybe 2 or 3 branches for our idea. Let's say I'm making an app about CS for New York. I might have one that is a branch about standards. I might have one that's a branch about aligned tools, like Christine was talking about. I might have another branch that is, sort of purpose and training, professional development, things like that. So think about your idea, think about some major themes, topics, create some of those branches and sub branches, play around with it a little bit. We'll take 2 minutes on our plan. And as you're going, if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat for us. We are happy to help. I don't know if you noticed, but Greg has a guitar in the back there. He's a musician and he has some phenomenal tunes and songs and beats that he has developed over the years. And I feel like we should play one in the background right now, Greg. It may not work. Audio and video is a struggle today.
I have no idea how to use sound from the computer.
Yes, okay. Virginia says, as long as it's not Jeopardy.
No, it isn't.
Oh.
The Andy Kin Jeopardy or the game show Jeopardy?
Okay, so hopefully we've got some plans, a couple branches, a few major themes of what we're thinking of building today. We're going to pause on this for now. Of course, 2 minutes is never enough, but we're going to pause on this for now and go to the next module. And again, we've got a cheat sheet up here for you to play, to explore on your own. We know, both Greg and I are former educators. We know that the best way for us to experience something is to be hands-on. So we want you to play. But in this module, so if you pause on plan, go ahead and click to the next module, which is design. This is really the brand of your app. the colors, the images, the look and feel. This is where students, and of course they love to spend time here, really want to bring out their own artistic prowess to showing off what they want to do visually in their app. For today, we are going to just click on one from the left panel of your screen. There is, if you scroll down on the left, there's several images that are stock images. You could click on one that you like for now, and use that as your template, as your placeholder design. However, you can absolutely come in at any point in time and click on the edit button, which is towards the top left of your screen, and edit any one of these images. You can use Canva, you can use Photoshop, you can use whatever design image tool that you're teaching the kids or want them to learn. Create your own logos, your own buttons, your own home screen images, and upload all of that into your app. It'll immediately be reflected on your screen. We don't have time to go in and build our own designs today, but if you want to play, you could just click on that edit button, upload a picture that you have on your computer, upload something just to see how it works. But this is the design module where you can upload your own designs. And then also on the right-hand side of your screen, there's a lot of options in terms of opacity, colors, text, font, size of buttons, things like that, that you can pick from. Type of buttons, all of those things are on the right. So we'll take just a minute to pick a design from the gallery on the left and then play with some of the options on the right before we move to build. Greg, go ahead.
And if I could just add, Alethea mentioned the word brand. One of the places where this is used quite a bit is in CTAE classes or CTE classes. This is, we love talking about entrepreneurship. We call it apppreneurship. And we even have a module specifically called Apppreneurship 101, where students will learn about how important it is to build a brand and what considerations should be made to do that, and what an app would be used for, either as a traditional entrepreneurship project, like when you're trying to make a buck, or a social entrepreneurship project where you're trying to make a difference. And we encourage students to think about apps in that way, but we want them to build a good, solid brand. And that's where this comes in.
Awesome. Greg, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Christine, to answer your question, we don't have a copy branches or duplicate branches functionality yet, but it's a great idea. We're going to add it to the backlog. For now, the best I could say is just copy paste the text and do that for the branches that you have, but great idea. Fun fact, everything that you see in MadLearn today, absolutely everything that you're experiencing today has come through the evolution of feedback from teachers and students in the last 10 years. The first version of MadLearn 10 years ago, and I'm going to say this publicly, it sucked. Just like the first version of anything is just the first version. Back then, we thought it was great because it was back then. But when in retrospect, when you look at what it used to be and what you look at what it is now, of course, we've come a long way. And so everything that we have is based on ideas, on feedback from you as teachers, from you as administrators, from students. Even these 6 integrated modules that we have came through the evolution of us realizing this is what is needed. So keep giving us those ideas. We'll keep building it. We'll keep making it better. That's what any kind of technology creation is about. There's a better version coming soon, always. So hopefully you've gotten to click on one of your designs, pick something for today as your placeholder. We're now going to move to the build section. This is the meat of what we're going to spend time on. This is the meat of what your students spend time on when they are building their app. We get to spend a whole 7 minutes on this today, but we're going to build. And when you build your screens in MadLearn, there are a few different options. And Greg's going to actually talk. Greg, if you can pull up one of the apps and go to the build section on your end, and we'll have you demo to us how to do this. But there is a cheat sheet here for you. When you're building screens in MadLearn, there's a couple things that are essential. The first thing is you click the green button that says Add Screen. The second thing is you click on a template or feature type or functionality from the left panel. There are many screens that you could build an app start to finish using no code whatsoever. I tell this to students all the time. I don't know how to code, and I run a tech company. And that's essential for kids to know, not because coding's not important. Coding is essential. We couldn't do what we do with on our team in our company without our coders, but we also couldn't do what we do without our designers and our testers and our marketing team and our sales team and all of these things that come together to make a product whole and to make a product successful. So we want to help the students see all of these different steps of the process. And if they're inclined and interested in one more than the other, they can hone in on that a little bit more. So you could build an app using no code. You could build an app using lots of code. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are the 3 programming languages that we focus on within our program. So many of us are probably teaching that already in our classrooms. It's a great addition or expansion to a web development class or an intro to CS class. Very good for us to be able to loop some of that in. But once you click on a template as a screen that you want to build, the first thing you have to do is give your screen a name for the properties of that screen to be unlocked. So make sure you're doing that. I'm going to stop my screen share, and Greg's going to take over and show us a little bit about the build module and how we can build a screen. Let's all build maybe one screen together. We might be able to do 2 if you're into it and wanting to experiment some more. But Greg, tell us about how we build a screen.
Well, I'm opening up an app here that is actually being worked on as we speak, I believe, because I just looked at the app icon for it, and it's different than what I saw earlier this morning. This is a student. I'm not sure where the student is, but they're building an app about strawberries, and that's one of the cool things about this experience that I've seen too. Is there are no bad ideas. And students have proven that time and time again. But anyway, for the build process here, if you're in build, which you should be, you want to add, you'll want to add a new screen. The first thing actually you're doing is building your home screen out. For example, if my app was about STEM, I would have science, technology, engineering, and math as my 4 buttons here. You can have as many buttons as you want, as you saw before, and you can put them in whatever order you want to. So we want to add a screen here, and I'm not going to save these screens, obviously, but to add a new screen, we're just going to click the green button in the upper left, and then just click on an app that we want to add. And we're going to start with something called a content editor.
Greg, could you zoom your screen in just a little bit? It might be easier for us to see.
I will try.
Thank you.
Better?
Perfect. Thanks.
And I'm sorry, I kind of jumped the gun there on the content editor. Is that an okay place to start, Olivia?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So once we've chosen one, you'll see a screen simulator appear in the middle. The first thing we have to do is give it a name. I'm just going to name it test. So it'll be easy to find and get rid of so that the student doesn't freak out. After we name it and we click the screen, we'll get a pop-up that tells us it's been saved successfully. And this particular screen is an HTML-based screen, but it uses an HTML editor. And this editor is found in the lower right-hand side of the screen. You'll see that there are buttons that you can click that do the normal things you would see in a Google Doc or any kind of doc like that you're working with, a Word document, for example. If you don't know what the buttons do, all you have to do is hover on them and it'll tell you what they do. So here I could just put, for example, if I made this a welcome screen to my app, I would just say welcome to my app. I just type it in the box here on the right, and you'll see that it's appearing in the middle there. If I wanted to play around with the text, I could change it to a different text. I could change the size of it, of course. And so on. I can add pictures, I could add videos. There are a lot of things I can do on a screen like this. And once I've started creating this screen, the screen saves automatically. And to show that, if I go down here to my screens, you can see the screens that have already been created by the student. And here's the one that I've just developed now or started to develop, and that's the test screen. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to get rid of this screen now that I've demonstrated
Um,
how to do it.
And
Yes,
Greg, could you also show us, since we are many of us and most of us probably computer science teachers, could you show us some of the more sophisticated? So
absolutely.
this is one that's a simple template, right? Again, if you're elementary level, or if you're middle school and just starting something like this, there's several screens that are no code screens. Very easy to build a video gallery in your app, or a photo gallery, or a custom template that has little components to your screen that you can, again, play with all of these things. You've got the trial, play with it. But let's look at some of those coding screens.
I'll show you these in two stages, and this is how we like to approach this. We originally created a screen that is made up of HTML and CSS code called flashcards, a very simple screen that could be used as a drill and practice, or it could be used to organize your thoughts. Let's say the screen was talking about science, for example. Each one of these cards could be a discipline of science, biology, chemistry, what have you. And then there could be an explanation of that science discipline on the back. And what you have, as you'll see here on the left-hand side, is the code for the screen. There are 8 cards on the screen, and we take each card and divide them by putting spaces in the code sets so that students can flush out where the text elements are, for example, and the background image parts, and they can see how they can change just those elements. Then they can go into CSS and say, for example, they don't like how dark these background pictures are. They can find where the opacity setting is for those. Just as a quick example, if they change that setting, you can see it brightens up the pictures. So the code sets are already here for the students, but their chore here is to go in and dissect those code sets and find the elements, and they'll start to learn which kind of codes are responsible for what kinds of actions. I'm going to leave this one and go to my favorite type of screen. Now, let me just make sure that screen's not there. It is not, so that's good. So my favorite kind of screen is the HCJ Builder. This uses all 3 code sets, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And what you see here is a blank canvas for these. If your students know nothing about code, they can still build these screens because we have developed a code set library for students to access. This has about 150 different code sets in it, which I'll show you in just a second. And what we encourage students to do is to first take a look at the demo app that we created. I'm going to give this a name just to be able to work with it. If I click on the demo app here, I will see screens that have been developed using the HCJ code sets. And let's say, for example, I'd like to have a quiz in my app. So I can go to quizzes and flashcards here, and I see it's not an inclusive set, but it shows a lot of different options here as to templates that we have where questions could be asked. So here's one, for example. It's a very simple 3-question thing with a submit button and tells you your score when you're done. It'll tell you what your right answers are too, and they're even color coded and things like that, which if we went through this, you'd see. But let's say that's the one I want to use. So I'm going to look for the quick quiz 3 questions now, and I'm going to go back to the app and visit the code set library. Here I'm going to see folders that are the same as the buttons on that demo app that I showed you. And one of those happens to be quizzes and flashcards. Yes.
We are still seeing the build a module of the platform. So if you toggle to another tab, then I don't think that one is being shared.
Oh, you're right. It wouldn't be. I'm sorry.
And while Greg's doing that, just to kind of recap, we really look at code and teaching the kids code from the perspective of backwards engineering. So we have tons, like over 150, I think now, code sets that are available for the kids to take, to tweak, to change, to make their own. Of course, if they want to, they've got a blank slate and they can write their code from the ground up as well. But the reality is the best coders today don't say, what do you need? Let me make it for you from the ground up. They say, what do you need? Let me see what's out there. Let me make it better. Let me tweak it. Let me make it my own. And also now with, with AI, we're going to have AI write a lot of the code for us, and we're going to learn how to fix it, make it better, make it our own. So there's tons of code sets. You can copy paste any single one from that library into your screen, into that particular app page, and then play with it, right? Especially us as computer science teachers, we know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or we're teaching it maybe to our kids. This is a place for us to play. Virginia, I'm so glad you think it's fun. Play with it, have fun. Greg, go ahead. Which screen did you want to share?
I think I'm sharing my entire screen now, so you should be seeing.
We are not seeing anything. At least I'm not, but mine's not working so well today. So okay. If anyone can see Greg's screen, let us know. Nope. Okay. Virginia says no too.
Okay. Well, let's try again. Maybe it won't let me share my entire screen. What about now?
No, we are not seeing anything.
Okay, apparently it's not going to let me share my entire screen.
Not a problem. But anyway, and I'm going to pull this back up just so let's take another 3 minutes of our time to build 1 or 2 screens out in the build module of your app. Greg showed us a content editor. He showed us the flashcards. He showed us a little bit of the HCJ builder, which is a combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So play with it. Pick one, build out a screen, put anything you want on it based on your idea, of course, of what you're building, and create a screen for us. If you have questions, put them in the chat. But let's just take a couple more minutes to work on build. And again, there's a cheat sheet here up on the screen for us. If something's not quite making sense, or if you're not sure what to do, look at these little pointers and tips for us, and that should help. Go ahead, Greg.
I'd also like to add that I had already mentioned the Apppreneurship 101 module. There's also a module called Coding 101, which gives students an introduction to HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, and helps guide them through working on those HCJ builder screens.
Perfect. Okay. We'll take just another minute or so, create a screen, play around with it, see what some of the possibilities are. There might be a particular template that you're like, I don't know, what is this used for? Ask us. We'd love to hear from you.
Seems like everybody's busy working, which is good.
That's great. And I see several apps that are being made in the platform, so that is awesome.
That's right. We can see what you're doing. So.
Okay, let's pause on build. Of course, not enough time to build out tons of stuff, but hopefully you played around with it just a little bit, got to click on a screen or two and see what's possible. Like we said, no code options, lots of code options, depending on where you are and what you're teaching. For now, I'd like you to pause on build. Again, everything auto saves. So whatever you've done, it'll save as long as you gave your screen a name. It will auto save for you, so you don't have to worry about that. But let's toggle to the next module. This is test. This is the test module. This is something that we really focus on with the kids to help that iterative process, that growth mindset process. So when you're in the test module, the first thing that you're going to see is something that says review guidelines. This is where students can self-review, peer review, teacher review their app that they have built, and go through and click off the things that they've done and realize additional things that they can do to continue to improve their app. Once you click off a few things that you've done in your app, you click on score, it'll give you a score for your app. So you can actually see where you are on a scale of 0 to 100. Based on the things that you've done in your app. My favorite part of the test module is the third option that you see on the left. It's called Share Link. So go ahead and click on that button that says Share Link and tell me what you see. You're in the test module of your app. The third option down on the left is Share Link. Go ahead and click on that and tell me what you see. And yes, I will wait for awkward silence until somebody puts it in the chat for me. In the test module, Share Link, what do you see? A QR code. Yes.
Oh,
You
good.
see
Thanks, Virginia. I was about to play Jeopardy.
we see a link and we see a QR code. That is your app's QR code. Scan it. Scan it and see what happens. Of course, you've just started your app. You maybe have made one screen. It's not a whole lot. It's not going to do a whole lot yet, but scan your app's QR code. And you will see on your phone, regardless of what phone you've got, you will see the very beginnings of your mobile app already on your phone. So that is how easy it can be to start a project, to create some screens, to give it some designs and your flair. We're so glad to hear that you're in love. That's awesome. It can be that easy to start on, build, create, and share your app. So in that share section, that's what you can do. Really be able to get feedback from your peers, from people in your community, get ideas on how to make your product better, like we do all the time. And finally, when you're done testing, you can go ahead and click to the last module there, which says launch. This is really where students are learning about how to pitch, how to present, how to share their app with the world. So first, learn to pitch your app to your classroom, present it to your classroom, maybe make a pitch deck of some sort. Then learn how to share it with your community. You might participate in the Congressional App Challenge. You might participate in a statewide app challenge or a district-wide event, or have a school assembly and have students present their apps on stage, share them, publish them with the world, learn what it's like to launch your product into the real world. So that is that final step there. Of course, within the launch module, you can also request your app to be submitted to the MAD store, to be published to the MAD store. We haven't talked about the MAD store today, but it is our version of the App Store. So it's an app that you can download. And Greg, if you could, or Doreen, if you can put that in the chat for us, the link to the MAD Store mobile app. It is an app you can download on your phone, free app. Anyone in the world can download it. It's our version of the App Store. So the best apps that meet a very high quality score and get reviewed by multiple levels of approvals and approved get to be published on the MAD Store for the world to see. So the app that you build today, no one else is going to see but you or anyone you share your QR code with. But if you do have a student that makes an app that's amazing, that's next level awesome, that is something that you can also get published to the MAD store. So thank you, Doreen. That's a link to the web version as well. You can download that on your phone also. So that is that final step for launch. And I wanted to share with you really one of the things that we have as an opportunity for all students that go through the MadLearn process with you in class at some point in whatever way that you might do app development. This is what our team looks like. We are a global team. As I mentioned, we have team members all over India, Ghana, and the United States. And because we're a global team, we live on email and Slack and Zoom and all of the other virtual tools. We have a virtual internship program. We actually had a session about this yesterday. For those of you who missed it, feel free to go back and watch the recording. Hopefully it's there. If not, Doreen is also going to put in the chat a link to our internship blog so that you can learn a little bit more about it. After you do MadLearn in the classroom, if it's something that makes sense for you, your kids become eligible to intern with us. We have a virtual internship program. We have anywhere from 30 to 50 kids every year that intern with us from the comfort of their classroom or their home. and learn what it's like to work on a global team, to do real work and real projects, some phenomenal things that kids have created that they get to add as resume builders. They have experience doing all of these things for a real team and a real company. And we try to teach them some of those critical, vital, and transferable skills to help them prepare for that workforce. So one last thing that I wanted to show us real quick while you're still logged into MadLearn is, and let me see if I can pull this up. Greg, I know your share wasn't working, so I'm going to try this. If you're still logged into MadLearn, again, your dashboard will give you, this is some dummy data, but it'll give you some statistics and data on what you're looking at. I want you to go ahead and click on the curriculum tab on the left. That is your friend. That is a place where you can go to see all kinds of resources that we have developed for you to help you along with this process. Everything that we have is based, again, on those 6 steps of design thinking. Greg also mentioned our apppreneurship, entrepreneurship curriculum, our coding curriculum, and our design thinking focused modules that we have. But any module you click on, let's say I'm in the build section, I will see lesson plans. I'll see slide decks that I can pull up in class. I will see activities, resources, a bunch of stuff for you as a teacher to leverage and use if it's your style. If not, you can throw it away and do your own thing. We don't feel bad. It's here for you if it's helpful. But kids also have, and you have.
I feel a little bad, just so you know.
Greg, tell us about these videos. So everyone who logs into MadLearn has access to videos. So tell us about these.
Yeah, there are videos that basically will take the student through the entire process. We came up with these during the COVID era because we found a lot of students, of course, teachers were working remotely with students, and teachers took advantage of using these video tutorials as a way to just say, okay, you're going to look at this video, you're going to do what it says, and then we're going to check in, rather than having to teach everything themselves. That freed up some time for them. It gave the students more responsibility and accountability for their own learning. And it has worked really well. We've gotten nothing but great feedback on the video tutorials. They seem to be, they're easy to follow, they're short and concise, they're focused, and they work really well for the students.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Greg. And then last but not least, I want to put this up as a, if you want to take a screenshot of it or just note down anybody that you'd like to reach out to on our end. This is part of our team stateside that we, and Ghana, that we would love for you to stay in touch with us. Greg and I are here today. Doreen is here in the chat. Doreen actually runs our internship program. She's phenomenal with the kids. And pretty much every student that has gone through the program will send us an email later or ask Doreen for a letter of recommendation and tell us how much they learned and experienced through the process. So it's something that they love, that we love, we hold very near and dear to our hearts. And so definitely something to think about. Alexandra is also on our team, phenomenal. She'll be working with any teachers who are interested in adopting MadLearn. And Michelle is local in New York and working with us on helping schools adopt MadLearn. So a little bit about us. I'm going to leave that up, but want to leave a few minutes for us to ask questions, answer anything that we can help with. Virginia, we are on the ITCC contract through Erie One BOCES. Yes, we are. We are an approved program, vendor, EdLaw 2D compliant, all of that good stuff. So if this is something you'd like to adopt, you can do it through your BOCES, your RIC, and purchase in that way. We have several, I think close to 15, 20 maybe districts across the state that are already using our program. And we'd love to help you get started as well. Greg, go ahead.
I would add that we're also aligned with the New York State Computer Science Standards, which is available. That information is available in the resources for the teacher in the background information under curriculum.
Perfect. And Virginia, I'm so glad to hear you said, yes, it's fantastic. Your team is going to purchase this. We're so glad to hear that. We would love to support your kids, your teachers in every way possible. So please, I'm going to put, I know it's on the screen as well, but send me a quick email and we can help you get everything squared away whenever you're ready for that. So I'm so glad you'll be reaching out. Any other questions? I'm going to stop my screen share, but any other questions that we can help answer in the last minute that we have today. I just want to say thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us, for participating. We see several apps that are being made in MadLearn. We know many of you signed up for that trial and built along with us. So hopefully you had a good time. Hopefully it was fun. If nothing else, it's a new idea that you can take with you, but we're here to help if we can. Let us know if you have any questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. We appreciate you. Good luck with the rest of the conference and have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.